Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Meeting the Moment, Embracing and Navigating Pivots, Part 2. Today, I am joined by Luzy King, a Latina financial educator, the founder of Say Hola Wealth, which helps first generation women build wealth through financial education and strategy. She's also the host of the Say Hola Wealth podcast, an angel investor, a keynote speaker, a first generation college graduate, author of the forthcoming book, Cash Libre, which will be releasing in the fall of 2026, and a wife, a mom, a coffee lover, a runner, a cyclist, a mountain climber, and a camping enthusiast. Like, you like to be outside with the nature and everything, huh?
Yes, I love it.
Welcome to the show, Lucy. It's so great to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me, Kirsten.
No problem. All right, let's jump right in because we got a lot to cover today. You spent more than a decade climbing in hospitality leadership before stepping away in 2019 to start a family and finish your MBA. Then the pandemic hit, and that reshaped what came next for you. What did that pivot ask you to carry forward from your corporate years into the work you're doing now? And what did you have to leave behind to do your work well?
I love this question so much. So first of all, thank you for being so thoughtful on what we were going to chat about today. So I will say one of the biggest things that I took away was operational excellence, leadership through service, and I can dive into it a little bit more. And then the last one was it is okay for women of color to build rooms for ourselves.
Yeah, I love that. We definitely need more spaces for ourselves. And I think that the pandemic gave some of us a little bit more courage to step up and do that. And I'm glad that you started your organization and, doing all the things that you're doing. So we talk about money a little bit on the show. I've had some other financial experts on, but we all know this is always a question. Money is a hard topic to open up about. For first generation Latina professionals, there's always that added layer of cultural weight, the family expectations, and then possibly financial trauma. And a lot of advisors aren't trained to navigate that. How do you build trust with a client who's been told their whole life not to talk about money?
Yes, this is my bread and butter, and I love it. So I always like to say the only reason why women of color feel uncomfortable talking about money, it's because the marketing around personal finance and business finance, in my opinion, is very predatory. And it always tells us that we don't belong, that in order to be comfortable talking about money, we need to have these finance degrees or we need to speak the investing terminology, almost like as something that is natural. And for many of us, money conversations are not natural because those were not modeled at home. But also, when we have the financial system telling us, well, you're not good with money, and here is why, it's almost like excluding women from the conversation. So I always like to say, let's name the things that we see and the conversations that we are not included in. How I build this rapport with my clients is through storytelling. So I'm by nature a very good storyteller. And now as a mom, I teach my daughters through story. So when I started my journey as a financial educator, I wanted to copy the frameworks and speak the same way as other financial educators. So I was telling people, this is how you budget. These are the budgeting methods. And then I quickly realized that doesn't invite people to say, yeah, she's right. I'm going to sit and look at my money. And so what I did is I decided to use a story as a strategy to attract my dream clients, but also leaning from my own personal experience, which a lot of times when you start a business, especially coming from the corporate setting, you don't want to say the wrong thing. You don't want to sound or being seen as she's crazy. What is she talking about? Right? Because the system teaches us that we have to be black and white and that we have to be very square in the way we talk about money. So for me, I told myself, I'm going to bring my colors and my paints, and I'm just going to make these so beautiful so my client can understand why money is just like any other conversation. And the funny thing about this, Kirsten, is that we already talk about money every day in our brain.
Yeah.
Every woman that is watching your podcast or listening already is having that internal dialogue with money. So why are we not just saying it out loud? Like, hey, you know what? I'm behind on my finances, or you know what? I don't understand investing, but I'm willing to learn.
I love that. Let's get a little bit deeper into your work, which sits at the intersection of financial strategy, cultural identity, and economic mobility. This is a space not a lot of people can navigate alone. So, what relationships made Say Hola Wealth possible? And how do you think about the relationships your clients need around them to build generational wealth and not just learn about it?
I love this question so much. So the relationships that made this movement possible was really leaning into mentorship and sponsorship for me. So when I left my corporate career, originally I had this idea of, oh, I have to start from zero.
Mhm.
But I was like, no, I'm not starting from zero. Like I already carry the operational excellence, because in hospitality, you have to build relationships, right? Especially like the work that I was doing. I was a general manager, but I climbed the ladder. So throughout the years, I built these relationships with not just local people or regional people, but actually national and international people. And
Mm.
so when I started to launch my business, I said, of course, the idea of like, well, I need a website, I need a logo, I need a business card, like all of these things that society tells women they need before moving forward with the business. And I did, by the way, I did all of those, and then crickets. So once I realized that I don't have to start from zero, but I can check in with my mentors and ask them if they can introduce me to certain people. And a lot of them did, which I'm really grateful for that. But a lot of them also told me, well, you're not a bank, you're not an investing firm. So, like, where do you really stand? Because if I want to make those introductions, I want to make sure that you have the credentials. And I said, I am a certified personal finance instructor. I don't have the credentials of a CFP. I don't want to become a CFP, by the way. Like, I've tried going through that path, and it's just not for me, because there's this disconnect with behavioral psychology of money and the actual investing portion. And I said, well, if what I'm trying to teach my client doesn't exist, I'm going to bring it and I'm going to create it.
I love that. Okay, so as I mentioned at the top of the show, you're a first generation college student, and then there are first generation professionals who often carry their families financially while trying to build something for themselves. That accountability can get blurry very quickly.
Yes.
So it's like, who owes what? Who decides what? Who gets to say no? How do you help your clients hold themselves accountable to their own wealth building goals without abandoning the people they love?
Yeah, and that comes with so much cultural pressure, because in our culture, we are supposed to essentially care for the elderly, which I feel like a lot of communities actually do that. It's not just the Latino community, but why it's different for us is that a lot of that comes from guilt. Oh,
Mm.
my parents sacrificed, my parents crossed the border, my parents didn't have these, now I have these. So a lot of that transactional way of helping our parents at the root is guilt, right? So how I teach my clients how to navigate this is, you have to know that you are the cycle breaker. Like, no one in your family is meant to break the cycle except you. Now, one of the things that I do is, someone has to become the one that says, I'm going to prioritize me first, which again comes with a lot of guilt, but we talk about the vision, right? And then what I like to do, because I also do this with my mom, I allocate a specific amount of money every month to give her, but I also allocate a bigger amount for her to be invested. And I don't tell her these. Like, I'm like, mom, she's probably going to learn through this podcast, right? Like, oh my God, I'm an investor. But I had to build a safety net for, and eventually I said, okay, now I can help my parents. But the biggest hurdle that I'm navigating with my clients is they have to navigate knowing that their responsibility is not to save their family, but to save themselves. And what I mean by that is that they have to change the financial behaviors first, because we cannot be what we can see.
Yeah, I love that. So, you said this earlier, like you didn't wait for the financial industry to make space for Latina professionals. You went and built it. You got certified in 2 countries. And in the fall, you're publishing Cash Libre. For the Latina executive or entrepreneur who's listening, who knows something has to change about how she's handling her money, but hasn't yet started, what's the proactive first move you tell her to make? And what's the trap most people fall into when they try to do it on their own?
Like you're like, I need to talk to you more often, because I just love this question so much. So the proactive thing is, don't look at the numbers. Like, we already know these, right? And even you're like, what? She's telling me not to look at my numbers? How many times have we heard the narrative of budget better, note your numbers, have a money date, and we still don't do it? So we have data that says, I've already tried to do these multiple things and it's not working. So I say, sit down with discomfort. That will be the first step. What is the cost of inaction? What is it costing you to avoid your student loan debt, your mortgage debt, your credit card debt? And get real, right? Like, it feels icky, like, even to think about it. Because when we sit with discomfort, then we have clarity on, oh, wow, Lucy's right. The finance industry is a for-profit business. So when the clients are not taking action, the banking system, the financial institutions benefit from that avoidance. And that interest compounds so much. So I always say, claim that ownership, because no one is going to come and say, oh my God, you have so many student loan debt, let me help you, because somebody else will not profit from your action. And then the biggest trap is, a lot of women think that they have to be really good with math to take care of their finances.
Okay.
I don't do math in my head. I use my phone. I have a calculator. I don't have the brain that just knows. Like, my husband is like that. You can tell him any number, he's like, yeah, this is the answer. I don't have that. But what I do have is, I have the ability to lean into my resources. To give you an example, when I was paying off debt, looking at a spreadsheet gave me anxiety, and I couldn't do it, right? So for me, what came easier was creating a system where I automated everything, from my savings, my investments, my spending, everything. And then I actually did a little trial app that had emojis, because I was like, well, if spreadsheets make me feel uncomfortable, what can I use to make sure the barrier is in there? So for many women, the biggest trap is the belief that 100% is the starting point.
Okay. I feel like I'm there. Like everything you were saying was like slapping me in the face. I was like, the anxiety. I'm like, got it. Avoiding student loans, got it. Like,
Yeah, but you're making somebody else rich, right? And I will assume that you want to have financial stability and that you want to create financial safety, right?
yeah.
So Kirsten, knock it off. Sit with that discomfort.
Get uncomfortable. Get uncomfortable. I love that you build an app, and I'm sure that while I wouldn't ask Chat GPT or Claude or Perplexity for financial assistance, I could actually ask them to, create an app for me or some kind of system that I would have fun with my financial.
Honestly, it's easier than we think. Like, you can create your yearly money plan in 30 minutes. And I've done it with clients. Not everyone has that stamina to budget every week or to go through
Right.
transactions. Like, I don't have that. If it takes me 30 minutes to do that, I better spend 30 minutes creating more money, because that's another narrative the women of color have been told, that you have to budget better. But who's teaching us to earn better? Not so many people.
Ooh, okay. So, yeah, wealth equity for
Yeah.
Latinas is a long game, and the cultural and systemic barriers you're researching are not going away very quickly. What does meeting this moment mean for you right now?
So I always say the barriers will always be there. We live in a society where if you try to be equal to a man, all of a sudden you're called a feminist, right? You're labeled so many things. And so for our community, and also for, like, Black communities, ownership is going to be the big differentiator. When you say, I don't want anybody else to be in charge of my life, my time, and my earnings, and my capacity to just create whatever I want, that's when things will change. But because we're living in this environment that is always telling us that we have to be other, right? Even when voting, there's all these, okay, where do you fall? And for so many people, it's like, well, I don't fit the box, so I have to select other.
Mm.
So be other, own other, but rebrand it as, it's okay for me to take ownership and step into the audacity of saying, I am done waiting for someone to come and rescue me, because the universe, God, whatever you believed in, has given you every single thing that you need to take ownership and to step into that. And ownership is how we build wealth.
I love that. Wow, I've learned so much in this time. Like I feel like I've got a master class, and now I gotta, you know, I gotta pay the toll for the financial advice you gave me. And I want to just make this clear. Like I framed this for your questions for your community, but like this is not exclusive to the Latina community. Like this could be for anyone.
For any
So yeah, so listeners, don't feel like, oh well, I can't do this, because no, this advice, those tidbits she gave, the knowledge that she shared, that's for everybody. So take it.
take it and do something with it. And you know what's really interesting, Kirsten? When I go and speak, or even my book that I'm writing, I'm working with a publishing home from Seattle, and the entire team is made of white women that are amazing, and I love having that team, on my side. And they have read the book, and they have told me, oh my God, your book changed me. Or, hey, I was reading, because I have to read the book, right, to help me with like grammar, spelling, syntax, and all of that. And they said, your book has already inspired me to take action, but not just inspired, like I actually done this. I checked my 401k, I logging into my student loan debt, I've created a plan to earn more. So my book, while yes, is written for Latinas, like it really serves everyone. And it's so different than anything you'll see out there.
Good, because we need some stuff. We're tired of the same people. We're not gonna call their names on
No,
this
we're
podcast.
not.
No, no, we've had it. All right, it's time for rapid fire.
Okay, hold on, because I brought my notes, because that one I was like, she's gonna go fast and I need to be ready. So I
Okay.
have I have my notes, because I didn't want to be like, ah.
Okay, who's a well-known or lesser-known historical or contemporary figure who inspires you and we should learn more about?
You're gonna love this one. Madam C.J. Walker.
I was gonna say, is that her behind me? But no, she's out in my living room on the mantle. I have a bunch of those Barbies um, with the historical figure Barbies they put out a few years ago. So yeah, I have. I think that's Ella Baker actually. Anyway, what is the best piece of career advice you've received that you would give to your early career self?
Stop waiting for permission.
I like that. Okay, so you already wrote a book. Okay, but if you wrote a book describing your career so far, what would the title be?
I might or might not be already writing this, by the way. Wink, wink. Don't be an industry loyalist.
I like
Pivots
that.
are okay.
Pivots are okay. Yes, absolutely. What fictional character gives you a glimpse of yourself?
100% Mulan.
Oh. I had someone tell me Sleeping Beauty, and now we have Mulan. So I hope we can finish all the princesses before this series is out.
She was so audacious. I just love her for that.
What is your go-to song, songs, or music genre when you want to hype yourself up to Congress a day?
One of the songs that I use when I walk into stage is If I Were a Rich Girl by Gwen Stefani, because I love the vibe and I love to dance. So that one is perfect.
Okay. What's your favorite empowering quote?
So this one just came from my live experiences, and that is our grandparents play it safe for us to be here. Now we have to take ownership.
Okay. Take ownership. That's a theme running through it. What's one thing you want people to take away from our conversation?
The healing your money timeline and wealth creation are not two different things. They are the combination of both. And you can build and heal your money timeline together.
Okay. Before I let you go, please shout out where folks can find you, where they can follow you, where they can request your services, any upcoming initiatives, talks, conferences, anything you want to shout out, please do that now.
I have so many places where I'm going this month, and I'm blessed to be fully booked for September, October, and December, which is great. But please spread the word about the book. So cashlibre.com, libre.com. So that's libre, which means freedom. And yeah, if you learn anything about the podcast, if you feel inspired, like let me know. I thrive with feedback on people saying like, oh my God, I listened to this podcast and I found you. And I believe in the power of community over competition, but I also believe that as women, we have so much to build together. So don't be a stranger.
Absolutely not. Thank you so much for lending your time to Trap Chat today and for, again, all of your amazing insights. Looking forward to getting your book in the fall and hope everyone else is going to do the same. So we have more Trap Chat, Meeting the Moment, Embracing and Navigating Pivots coming up. Some more episodes are coming, so please tune in for those as well. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.